For the Jolie-Pitt family, growing up in the limelight is second nature. Despite this, we actually know so little about Brad and Angelina's kids. Sure, Shiloh's been making headlines lately, but her siblings have managed to escape notice. Until now. Prepare to learn everything about Maddo, Pax, Zahara, Shiloh, Vivienne, and Knox. We've got details on adoption scandals, the torture of seeing your parents romance each other at the office, the pressure of unexpected modeling contracts, and more. Maddox Jolie-Pitt. When Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton announced their plans to adopt a child in 2001, the media basically lost its mind. But by the time Angelina adopted Maddox the following year, Hollywood's it couple had split. Angelina became a single mum to the 7-month-old Cambodian boy. When Brad Pitt entered the picture, Maddox was 4. The next year, Brad officially adopted the kids, making Maddox a Jolie-Pitt. However, that didn't last long, because he's apparently trying to legally drop the Pitt part of his surname. But a lot happened between then and now. Maddox got his first job and his first taste of working in Hollywood when he was just 14. You might think this is a little young, but Angelina has a firm rule in her home that the kids need to develop and follow their passions. So, when he joined the crew of Angelina's film First They Killed My Father, she was pretty damn proud. Not only was her eldest son the inspiration for the film, but he worked as a researcher. The same year, Maddox was a production assistant for his parents' joint project By the Sea. Only this time, things got a little awkward, as the film features several love scenes between Brad and Angelina's characters. His mum once revealed, every time we had a fight scene or sexual scene, he obviously wouldn't be near us, so he had to work in the parking lot. He had no idea that by the time First They Killed My Father premiered 2 years later, his parents would have filed for divorce, and that he'd be partly to blame. In 2019, while the whole family was traveling on a private plane home from France, the unthinkable happened. Brad Pitt apparently got physical with Maddox. The incident sparked the start of a bunch of problems that eventually led to his parents' hugely scandalous split. So the fact that his and his mum's film has been so well received is a pretty big highlight after a rough period in the Jolie-Pitt household. First They Killed My Father was nominated for 9 awards, including a Golden Globe. But the experience also helped him reconnect with the country and culture of his birth. Despite his love of film, it's not what Maddox decided to study. After his mum dropped him off at a university in South Korea like any other normal kid, he started studying biochemistry.
I mean today's the day I dropped. I know. I'm trying not to cry.
Isn't it sweet that his mum is so proud of him? However, that's why the second major scandal of Maddox's life came as such a blow. Earlier this year, a documentary called The Stolen Children revealed some seriously dodgy info about kids adopted from Cambodia. The reason this is so devastating to Maddox is because the woman who arranged his adoption way back in 2001 was the main villain in the documentary. Despite the media's obsession over whether Maddox's adoption was dodgy, his mum can actually prove that everything was legit. Of course, Maddox wasn't the only one of the Jolie-Pitt bunch to come under the spotlight while the words adoption and shadiness were trending. Pax Thien Jolie-Pitt. Even though he's the Jolie-Pitt's second oldest son, Pax was actually adopted after his younger sisters. He was born in Vietnam in 2003 and spent 3 years in an orphanage before Brad and Angelina met him. And that's probably why he's the shyest of all the couple's kids by far. Being adopted as a toddler, and not a baby like his other siblings, meant he hadn't had paparazzi trying to get a peek at him since he was a newborn. But while he isn't a fan of being in front of a camera, he likes being behind one. Pax also worked on First They Killed My Father by helping out with photography. Although, unlike Maddox, that wasn't his first film credit. Pax actually provided his voice to Kung Fu Panda 3 while it was being created the year before, along with Zahara, Shiloh, and Knox. Now, here's where we're about to surprise you. In spite of being so shy that he missed his own high school graduation earlier this year, Pax likes DJing. At least, that's what his mum once admitted to the BBC, because Pax hasn't ever done an interview of his own. Thankfully, the rest of his siblings are a little more open to the idea of the world knowing what they're up to. Zahara, for example, actually welcomes a little attention because she uses it for a really good cause. Zahara Marley Jolie-Pitt. Brad and Angelina's eldest daughter joined the family in 2005, a few months after being born in Ethiopia. While growing up, she's done an amazing job of following in her mum's footsteps, both in terms of humanitarian work and an unexpected contribution to Hollywood glam. But more on that in a moment. Ever since her parents founded the Zahara program in 2009 to treat drug-resistant tuberculosis in her home country, this young lady has had an even more special bond with Ethiopia. She travels there frequently and always does charity or volunteer work while in the country. But recently, she's started showing a little more of her creative side. 2 years ago, Zahara launched her very own jewelry range, which she designed with the help of Robert Prokop. Her mum also worked on a line with the designer in 2012, so it was a great way for Angelina and Zahara to bond. To make it even more special, all the proceeds from the Zahara collection go to a charity called House of Ruth Shelters. So it's no surprise that Angelina told Time magazine that she was super proud of her daughter. The actress explained, "She's my family, but she's an extraordinary African woman, and her connection to her country, her continent, is her own, and it's something I only stand back in awe of." She's also given Zahara a pretty impressive title in the Jolie-Pitt household.
Zahara is the most organized in the family.
But while she praised Zahara, Angelina also told Time that having an adopted child has exposed her to something truly ugly: systemic racism. The former Mrs. Pitt explained that after Zahara spent some time in hospital, she had a few concerns about her daughter's care. Angelina elaborated, "Whenever I looked at medical charts, the reference point was always white skin." In fact, she contrasted the care her two daughters received based on race and is now calling for reforms in healthcare. Oh, sorry, yeah, did we not mention that Zahara wasn't alone in having surgery? Shiloh Nouvel Jolie-Pitt. Brad and Angie's first biological daughter has been famous since before she was born. Literally, she's even the youngest ever person to be represented in Madame Tussauds. The famous wax museum had a model of Shiloh created just weeks after her birth in 2006. But it's not just for entertainment purposes. Her parents only agreed to the statue because the museum donates $1 from every photo taken with the waxy baby Shiloh to UNICEF. And despite the world's fascination with Shiloh, her mum didn't get the appeal. Hilariously, Angelina joked to Elle that her brand new daughter wasn't the prettiest thing she'd ever seen, adding, "A newborn really is this. Yes, a blob." Although soon enough, that blob developed into a feisty little human. After a stint of demanding to be called John and dressing as a boy for a few years, at 15, Shiloh has started to embrace her feminine side. The internet noticed. After making headlines for her style change and dazzling on the red carpet in some of Angelina's old gowns, the media can't get enough of this teenager. She's even been offered a few modeling contracts. However, we have a sneaky feeling that might not happen because Shiloh's already made up her mind on a career, and it's not walking down a catwalk. According to OK magazine, Angelina revealed that her daughter really wants to work for the United Nations. Of course, she's not alone in admiring her mum's career with the UN. Even her younger siblings have a pretty clear altruistic streak. Knox Leon and Vivienne Marcheline Jolie-Pitt. The youngest duo in the family share more than genetics. They share a birthday. The twins were born a minute apart in 2008. However, when it comes to personality, they're as different as can be. Knox takes after his dad in a lot of aspects. He's creative and loves art and architecture and has a talent for tech. In fact, he's even taking robotics classes. His mum describes him as a tough little dude. And then there's his sister Vivienne. Angelina admitted to Marie Claire magazine that her youngest daughter isn't exactly a girly girl. Instead, she likes overalls and already has a black belt in karate, which is why it's still a family joke that Vivienne played young Princess Aurora alongside her mum in Maleficent. Angelina told People magazine, "Vivienne still can't believe I made her a princess. She likes her overalls, I can't put her in a dress. So she's like, how could you make me a princess?" Despite this, they're both really charitable. Just ask Sarah Ramos. Last year, the actress spotted the twins selling organic dog treats in a park in LA to raise money for a local animal shelter. That love of animals is exactly what caused the latest heartbreak in the Jolie-Pitt household. Last year, while the family was quarantining, Vivienne's pet bunny passed away. But there was a silver lining because it gave the family a chance to rehome 2 disabled bunnies from a local shelter. With such impressive and accomplished kids, it's no wonder Angelina never misses a chance to praise her family. She summed her feelings amazingly when 2 years ago, when Elle magazine asked her about her secret to successful parenting. For this mum, it's all about honesty and a little nudging in the right direction. She explained, "I couldn't be prouder of my sons for the men they're becoming, the way they respect their sisters and are respected by them. I tell my daughters that the most important thing they can do is to develop their minds. It doesn't matter what you wear on the outside if your mind isn't strong." Now we just need to wait and see what the world has in store for the Jolie-Pitt clan, because we have no doubt it's going to be impressive. For more behind-the-scenes info on the Jolie-Pitt family, check out our other videos. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay awesome.